Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday after Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a great day yesterday, hopefully celebrating with family and having a good, relaxing time. We had a full, busy house here with my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law, and their kids. So it was crazy, chaotic, fun, lots of good food, and so wishing you a happy Thanksgiving Day and happy Black Friday today. So today is Friday, which means it's a Welly Belly Talk. And today I have Jacquie Smith with me. So I'm super excited. We're going to be talking together about movement. And she has a new fitness app that she's going to talk about, which is super cool. And I think a lot of us are kind of getting into that mindset. Maybe today you woke up after having a full belly yesterday and think, ooh, I need to get moving. So she has a solution for that. I hope that you are checking out the Gut Love with Kylene group page, where I'm sharing lots of fun Black Friday deals with you today, kind of some of my favorite brands and toxin-free products and things like that are on sale. So that's lots and lots of fun. And for those of you who have never seen a Welly Belly Talk before, my name is Kylene Terhune. I am the founder of My Balanced Biome, and I work with women all across the country to help them heal their guts. And Welly Belly Talks are every Friday at 12:30. Today's a little bit of a schedule change, and this is where we talk about all things health and wellness, and we want to make your belly well. So welcome, Jacquie. I'm super excited to have you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Kylene. I'm excited to be on your Welly Belly Talk today, and happy belated Thanksgiving. And I hope you're getting back into the regular routine. I know we were talking about, the Thanksgiving hangover, even if you didn't eat too much, or it's just an exhausting day, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot. My husband's alarm went off at 4:45 yesterday, and a lot of times I sleep through it. And for whatever reason, yesterday it woke me up, and like my body was exhausted, but my brain would not go back to sleep. So It hit me later in the day, and I was really tired. And by the time we were done with all the festivities yesterday, I was like, I need to go to sleep. So I definitely slept in this morning, and it was a slow getting started today, but no, it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. So let me introduce you really quickly. I'm going to read Jackie's bio here. Jacquie found her passion for health and wellness in 2013 when she started experimenting with natural foods and remedies in order to heal herself from cystic acne, horrible digestion, and overall exhaustion caused by stress and corporate travel. As a result, she learned the power of food to heal, nourish the mind and body. In 2015, she received her certification as a holistic health coach from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and Little Adapts by Jax was born. Her philosophy of Little Adapts allows her clients to gradually instill small positive changes to create the healthy and happy lifestyle they've always wanted. As for fitness, she's always been a big runner and athlete, which is why she's completed 8 half marathons. Holy cow. 2 marathons and 1 triathlon. However, solely just running wasn't sustainable as she started to develop injuries and needed to cross-train, which is how she fell in love with barre and yoga. She has her barre certification from Exhale and her 200-hour yoga teacher training certification through Po Yoga to continue to deepen her practices and help her clients reach their own fitness goals. Now, I just have to say there's so many things in here that I can relate to. I was a personal trainer. Second, I was a Beachbody coach online. I would do these at-home workouts. I still love them. I still do a lot of their workouts, but I did that for a long time. And then I became a personal trainer and worked with people one-on-one at the gym. And I loved that. And then I was like, you know what? Like, because of my own health struggles and what I was learning about the body and what I was trying to fix for myself, I started to realize, like, all these people, I'm sure you've experienced this too, you get a certification, people start asking questions. And I was like, all these women that are coming to me asking these questions about, how they can lose weight or how they can feel better. I really started to understand that the whole exercise more, eat less was not enough. There was more to that picture. Like, yeah, you have to move. Movement's important, and we're going to talk about that today. But you really have to get that whole body holistic health and wellness approach of, are the foods that you're eating, causing inflammation? Do you have sensitivities to these things? Are they underneath your acne and rosacea and weight loss resistance and all of these different things? And then, what I ended up getting into was gut health, which of course nutrition plays like the foundational role in it, right? Like, there's so much that you can do with food. So there were many things in here. And then you said as well, the you're running, you love to run. I don't love it as much as some people do. I have started enjoying it more, but my husband loves running, and he could probably check off all of those things that you said about marathons and all these things, and most of them anyway. And he loves running. But what you said is something that's really important for people is to cross train. You can't just do one thing all the time. Your body's going to get weak in other areas, and so cross training your muscles actually can help you become a better runner. And I recognize that as I did at-home workouts, running became easier for me. I didn't have to train running constantly in order to get better at running, which was kind of cool. So I love your story and how relatable it is personally. So how did you sort of get into all of this in terms of, it looks like you were trying to work on your own health, and what inspired you to branch out and start helping other people?
So the whole reason I called it Little Adapts by Jackson, I know it says that a little bit in the bio about little adapts or small positive changes, but basically back in 2013, and I'm sure you've had this, Kylene, where you have that rock bottom moment where I remember it. It was basically, I ate ice cream, which dairy ended up being my trigger for my digestive issues. And I blew up like I was 6 months pregnant. And I remember thinking like, I can't do this anymore. This is not worth it. And so from there, that's when I did like an elimination diet and, started changing my diet, removing dairy, which again, and I'm sure you've been there, like it's not like done overnight. You can't just like forget it forever. It's one of those things where you have to keep working on it day by day, removing it more and more until you're just like, it's not worth it to me. I can remove it without realizing how much better I feel without it, and just not even thinking about how much it sucks that you can't have a food, but realizing how your body is actually healing. Like I obviously don't have cystic acne anymore. My digestive issues are gone. But again, it took a lot of time. And so what I realized was, what I did for myself was that each week I kind of set a goal, or I started with nutrition, and then I started training for my first half marathon. And I just started developing this healthy and happy lifestyle gradually. And so over time, at the time I was working at Bloomberg in sales, I actually worked there for 7 years until I went full-time back in 2018. But people at work started noticing, people started asking me like what workouts I was doing. They obviously saw that I was in great shape. My skin was clearing up. I was a much happier overall human being. And so from that, I decided I didn't like finance and I liked helping people and giving them advice. So I started looking into, and I networked with people about, going back for my undergrad or getting my master's or doing like an online certification program. And so for me, I was still working full time and I didn't know if I would want that to be my career. So I ended up doing the Institute for Integrative Nutrition because I could do that, at night or on the side. And that's basically, I did that. I started getting clients. And then eventually I knew I wanted to do that full time. So again, just like my little adapt philosophy for my health clients, it was like the same thing with my health and then also with my business.
I love that. So let's talk about the little adapts and what does that mean really for people, and what might some of those look like?
Yeah, so it could be, and again, I love how you talked about, my big thing is always about like holistic health. Even if you're eating well and working out, but like you're not dealing with any of the other messy stuff. So like you're stressed, you're sleeping, maybe toxic relationships in your life, you're still not going to feel good. So the way I think about holistically, and I think what I focus on first and foremost, and I think you can attest to this, is that we always start with nutrition, right? Because nutrition affects how our body functions, how we feel mentally and physically. So I typically start with clients from a nutrition standpoint, and a little adapt could be something as simple as adding greens to every meal. Because I think for most part, most people don't get enough vegetables and greens, which add all the ton of like vitamins and nutrients and all the fiber we need from like a digestive perspective. So it could be something really simple where you just say, for all of my meals, I'm going to add like a handful of spinach, or, whether it's in my smoothie or the bottom of my pasta bowl, like really simple things that just become normal. And then maybe next week we would work on, maybe your goal is eventually to get up to work out 5 times a week. So maybe you start out at like 2 or 3, like what do you think can fit into your lifestyle? And that's what I try to do for my clients is working in my program isn't supposed to be overwhelming. The little adapts are supposed to fit into your lifestyle where you're at so that you feel like it's something that you want to do. You do it really gradually over time. And then those little adapts become ingrained in your lifestyle. And then you keep adding on to them because you start to really feel really good and you see the benefits of them, which I think is super important because that enforces those little adapts and that lifestyle.
Yeah, it's super important because I think what we see a lot is the whole January 1st mentality, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to set this resolution. It's going to be an insane resolution. I sit on the couch. I don't ever run. I've never been a runner. I'm going to set a goal for 2021 to be a marathon runner, and I'm going to do this by March. And then nobody does that because it's a ridiculous goal. The schedule is way too intense for their level of fitness, and then they're like, I quit by January 15th, right? Like, no.
Exactly. No.
Or I've never done, anything except eat, fast food, and I'm all of a sudden gonna go like strict Whole30 for 30 days. Like it's just not gonna work for people. Like you have to find baby steps in order to make it a habit. And so I like the way you sort of worded it in terms of like bringing small things in that are doable, that are based on your goals, and then building on top of that. That's really, really important that we are reasonable with our goals. There's the other side of that where something might need to be removed. Like you mentioned for yourself, dairy was a big trigger for you. So I find a lot of times gluten and dairy are like the top two for people. And they're also some of the most mentally, people have like the strongest mental blocks about it. I like gluten. I like dairy. They just don't even want it. Even if they recognize, hey, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a resistance there. So how would you what would you say to someone that just flat out says, it's too hard. I don't really think this is doable for me. I don't want to do it.
So two things. I think one, and I know you do a lot of this, but I think especially we all know what we're sensitive to, right? We know what makes us react, but we don't want to admit it to ourselves. So a lot of times when clients probably come to us, they probably already know this, but one is if you get blood work done, right? So like a test that tells you like you are sensitive or you are allergic to this food. I think sometimes when people see like that science behind it, that like splits something in their head, like, oh my God, like I need to change something and this is why I'm feeling so bad. But the other thing is, and a lot of what I do with the clients is, and not just only telling them what to eat and, why they should be eating it, especially if they have like a food allergy or sensitivity, but it's like changing their perspective of it. So thinking about like, what are your long-term, like telling someone, I would say, what are your long-term goals? Like dairy is holding you back. Maybe you're having acne, maybe you're not sleeping well, maybe your energies are low, maybe it's causing you to hold on like extra weight from the inflammation. Like think about where you want to be. And every time you eat that food is not going to get you to that point. And also, you won't know how good you will feel until you remove it. And I always like to tell people this, and I'm sure back when you were on this journey, when I was going through this in like 2013, there was no dairy alternatives. They were disgusting. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to like the Daiya cheese, and I still don't touch it. I actually make my own vegan cheese now because I still think they're just really highly processed. Yeah. And, if I'm in a dire situation, I'll get it. But I think it's instead of thinking about like, this sucks, I don't want to do it. Like I love, like for me, like my dad owns a dairy distribution company. I loved cheese, right? How ironic. Oh. I remember telling my parents and they were like, what do you mean you don't eat dairy? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I did this elimination test because the doctors, Western medicine wasn't helping me all that much. And there wasn't people like you, Kylene, that I could have went to and been like, help me with this. It just wasn't prevalent back then.
Yeah.
And, it was more of once I removed it and then I started to feel that transition where, my stomach wasn't bothering me. I wasn't always bloated. I didn't have that acne. Like you have to admit it sucks, right? It sucks if you have to eliminate a specific food, but the alternative is that dairy, like for example, dairy and gluten aren't healthy. And I always tell clients this, they're not healthy foods. So they're not really helping you to get to like where your health goals are. If you want to lose weight, if you want to, have higher energy levels, if you want to just really feel your best.
Yeah.
So you actually have something where you get physical like symptoms from it. So people that don't have those symptoms, they have no incentive to remove the foods that aren't really good for them anyways. So this is the silver lining, is that it's a blessing in disguise. Yeah. Because you feel bad having it and it's not great for you.
Yeah.
And then once you remove it, you're just going to feel a million times better. So it's almost, like the science and like the lab tests are great, but having them think about like, yeah, it does suck, but there's also great alternatives. And working with someone like myself and you, and I want to tell you, I just ordered the Seriously Sourdough because I will be moving over to gluten-free.
Yay, I love it.
I'm so excited after your talk you did for my clients. But I think there are a lot of great alternatives now. So, working with a coach, it doesn't have to be that hard, because we can tell you the right products to have without you having to read every nutrition label and figure it out on your own. And I think through those things of working with a coach, having the science and the labs behind it, but also just changing. Like, yeah, it sucks. The silver lining is that those foods aren't great for you. And so you're going to feel better and be healthier than someone that doesn't get the physical symptoms.
Yeah. And even I would say, even if someone doesn't think they're getting symptoms, because a lot of times don't correlate. We think, okay, if I eat something, it must, and I react to it, it must show up in a digestive way. Like I have diarrhea, or I'm bloated, or I have acid reflux, these things that we naturally associate with digestion, right? In reality, there could be migraines, acne, like you mentioned. Fatigue is a big one that people get that they just don't correlate with food, but fatigue is huge. And, immediately if you say fatigue and food, people go, okay, blood sugar, so it must be them eating too much sugar and that sort of thing.
I know.
For some people that may be true, but truly food sensitivities can make you really, really tired. It can cause a lot of inflammation. And things that spike your blood sugar might not be what you think are sugary foods. Like wheat is going to spike your blood sugar. And so people can have a massive blood sugar roller coaster when they eat wheat products multiple times a day, and they have these massive dips. So that is such an important thing, to reframe how we think about things. I think that is really, really crucial. I always try to tell people, I never want anybody to feel deprived. I work really hard to say, hey guys, you need a substitute. If you're craving something, please let me know, because I don't ever want you to say, oh, I can't ever have brownies again. I want you to say, I don't want to have that because it's going to make me feel bad.
Exactly.
I'm craving some chocolate, I'll make myself a paleo mug cake, or I'll make these chickpea brownies, or these black bean brownies, or whatever. Yeah. There's like a bajillion recipes, and we sound so old now saying like back in the day, but it is.
I know.
It is literally so true, because I went gluten-free in 2012, and not to toot my own horn, but I went cold turkey in 2012, and it was just, that's what it was. I just didn't have it, and it was hard. And now it's like there's gluten-free everything. And
I know.
No, there is absolutely not an iota of suffering associated with going gluten-free anymore because of all the options. So I just want to let people know that if I can do it, you can definitely do it now. So it's going to be a good experience for anyone that's listening to this and like, okay, well, maybe I should try it. I would also say, guys, this is the end of November of 2020, which has been like the weirdest year in the whole world. And if hard things teach us anything, it's don't waste time. Don't waste time. Don't, appreciate what you have when you have it. And take advantage of what's going on as much as you possibly can. For many of us, this means that we're home more, which means we're cooking more, which means we have more control over what we're eating. So don't wait until January 1st. Don't fall into this, this is going on, I need to kind of, binge a little and sit on my couch and like do all these things comforting because this is stressful. There's a time and place for that. But this has been going on for like 9 months at this point. So at this point, it's time to say, okay, if I'm working from home at this point and I have more free time, or I have more time at home to cook and all these things, I'm not going to wait until January 1st. Today's the day. I'm going to figure this out and create a schedule for yourself, to meal plan, to go grocery shopping, click list it, whatever you need to do to feel safe. But this is, I think, not the year to make excuses. This is actually the year to take advantage of what's going on, if anything. And to get healthier. And don't wait until 2020, you guys, or 2021, because we don't know if anything, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately. So let's talk about movement, because you have an app coming up, which is pretty sweet.
Yes.
So yeah, nutrition is the foundation. exercise is important, but one thing we both recognized is you don't want to get on this hamster wheel of like, I'm running marathons all the time, I'm doing HIIT workouts all the time, and I do it just to do it because I said I'm going to do it. And if I don't do it, I'm going to feel bad about myself. We have to work with our cycles as women. We have to work with our moods, with what's going on, with our stress levels. And we have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to do a HIIT workout because I feel awesome today. And tomorrow I'm going to do yoga because, I'm really sore, and that's okay. So I know you have something coming up that's really exciting. It kind of spans a broad range there of likes and needs for people. So tell us, where does movement come in terms of health and the importance of it, and what are you coming out with?
Yeah. And like you said, everything starts with nutrition, but I think, exercise is great. And I don't know if, like, the reason, I'll be honest, the reason I got into running was it was a stress management tool. So my parents got divorced back when I was in college. And instead of wanting to like go home and punch someone in the face, I would go for a run. and running has always been one of those things where I used it as a stress reliever. And it's just been something easy and something that I love. But I loved what you said before. And I think this is a big thing on movement. If you don't love something, don't do it. Like there's so many amazing workouts out there, from, like you said, HIIT to yoga to bar to Pilates to running to biking. Like, you don't have to be pigeonholed into one thing. So just because some influencer is saying something or your best friend is doing something, just try new things and find out what motivates you, what you enjoy, because you'll be much more likely to do it and get results that way. I think the other thing that I like to focus on, and I call it more, instead of saying exercising or working out, like daily movement. Because for me, I love moving my body. And of course, you definitely want to have at least like a rest day. And there are days that you're going to be exhausted, especially with like your cycle, right? Towards like, your luteal phase and like your menstrual phase, you're going to want to like pare back and do more yoga, stretching, things that are good for your body and your hormones. But I think for me, and I think a lot of people talked about like, oh, Thanksgiving, you can take off and again, if you don't want to work out and you felt like you needed a rest day. But for me, I really enjoy movement. I always feel good after, even if it's 15 or 20 minutes, that I build it into my day because it makes me feel good. As we get older, our muscles start to deteriorate by like 30% per year. And so if you don't use them, you lose them. And I think that's really important for like anti-aging and making sure your joints are healthy. So I really think about it in just like a daily movement. Like if you can get 15 minutes in, even if it's like a gentle stretch, if you're just not feeling it, like I think that's super important. And that's something that I live by. So what the app that I'm building, it was actually an online membership that I built by myself back in June during COVID, because I'm not obviously teaching in, studios anymore, right? That's not possible. And so what I was doing for my clients was giving them ways to work out, or maybe they were coming to my class, but I wanted a way with everyone working at home to be able to do my workouts, which range from anywhere to 10 to 45 minutes, right? Depending on how you're feeling, what your time commitment is. And then I really use just like lightweight resistance bands or body weight. And my bread and butter is bar. I love bar. I think I actually got into it right before I got married back in 2017. And I have never been stronger or leaner. And I think for women's bodies, bar and Pilates is probably the best if you want like those long, lean muscles. Mm-hmm. But I think there are definitely those times, like obviously I love running and I love training. And, HIIT workouts are great because you do want to get your heart rate up. You do want to incorporate cardio. So on the app, half of it is like that fitness. So everyday fitness. I do sculpt. I also do yoga. So I have like restorative yoga. I have like power flow. I also do like a combo of yoga and sculpt. And then I have a program called what I call Little Adapt Sweat, which is a bar circuit, which you do twice. And then there's the option to do like a body weight cardio section in between. So on the days that you want to get more of a HIIT cardio section, you can do that. But then on top of that, the program also has my 6-week Little Adapt program. So if you wanted to figure out how you could either start or refine your current, healthy lifestyle, what I'm doing is based on the different pillars of the Little Adapt philosophy, which I do in one of my 6-week programs, which is, grocery shopping and meal prep, main meals, snacking and behavior. We talked a lot about changing the perception of like the way you think about food, stress management and hormone balance, daily movement, and then just like main meals. I actually will give you 3 little adapts over the 6-week program talking about each of these pillars. So you can go through it on your own and decide, what am I going to focus on this week from a holistic health perspective?
Nice.
And then I include like exclusive cookbooks. So I loved what you talked about before. It's not about deprivation. It's about finding healthier alternatives. And that's actually something that I love doing. So I have like a ton of recipes on my website, but I also have like really exclusive. So I have like a clean comfort cookbook on my app. I have stress management tools. And then I'm also including other instructors and health professionals that I think can really enrich my clients, and also to give other people that I've learned from and I really appreciate to be on there, so that they can, get a really overall like holistic health approach. And again, it can all be done from like the comfort of your own home, because we can't really be in person, and we can't always, we don't always have the bandwidth, like you said, to always, especially with COVID, to spend lots of money on a specific health coach. So this is a way for people to get that health coach and everyday fitness into their life at the cost of, a small investment, if you will.
That's awesome. I love it. So it sounds like, do you go in and choose a program, or do you go in and just have so many options that you can choose from every day?
So you go into it, there will be different times where like I could set up a challenge. So I think I'm going to do like a 12 days of Christmas challenge, where like it'll be 12 workouts you can do in a day. Or, I'll do different things through like my Instagram if you're part of the online membership. But you could really decide like how you feel. The other thing that I did do, because I know you're working with Sophie and she does a lot with hormones, but I actually put 2 sections on there where, based on your cycle, those are the workouts you should do, because I talk a lot about it on my Instagram. I talk a lot about it with my clients. And I think if you're just feeling tired and you're not sure why, or you're in that part of your phase, you're like, okay, cool. I can pick from any of these like 20 workouts and call it a day.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you want to share, are you able to share your screen? Did you want to kind of show people, what that is? And by the way, guys, this is available December 1st. So next week, you will have access to this. So this is really exciting and really cool. Here we go. Let me share it in the stream.
Okay, cool. So just give you a little overview.
And There we go. Get you back in there.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. So this is available for everyone December 1st, and it's basically a one-stop shop for if you are really starting to upgrade your health and fitness. And it's perfect for everybody that has to do this at home now, which is like awesome. I love it. I love that this is available. So the website version is December 1st. The phone app version is January 1st. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So everybody.
Yeah, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually offering a special for December. So when you sign up in December, you're going to get 3 months at 50% off.
50?
As like a 50.
Wow.
So instead of $20 a month, it'll be $10 a month for the first 3 months. And like I said, as soon as the app is available, you can download it and log in, and you'll be able to save workouts offline. And one of the things I did want to highlight in terms of like who's using this. So my husband's in a lot of the videos. My husband does all of my workouts. So it's not just for women, but primarily for women. But I have a lot of moms that love using it because there's those short workouts that are super efficient that they're like, I only have 10 minutes in my day. I want to throw it in there. And it's really for anybody. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be in the best shape of your life. You can start at any time. I usually give a lot of my clients, like I'll give them access for free while they're working with me so that they feel like they can create their own exercise routine and get exclusive recipes. But it's, for moms, it's for people in their 20s and 30s. And you could be the most in shape person, or you could be just starting out, and there will be a workout on there for you that you can continue to work and really feel like you're best using.
That's super exciting. So with all of this coming up, what would you say is your best advice on like how to create a consistent routine for yourself when it comes to movement, especially if that's difficult for someone? They're not, they haven't had a history of being really consistent with it. It's maybe stop, start, stop, start, stop, start.
Yeah, I think, like I said before, when I was talking about the little adapt, is like, if you haven't moved at all, maybe your goal is once a week, find movement. And it could be as simple as going for a longer walk or an extended walk where you feel like your body is really moving, not like a 5-minute walk around the corner, but really just getting yourself out there. And then maybe as you feel comfortable where that one time, for a week or two is like consistent, then maybe you make it 2 times. And then as you get into it again, you're going to start to really feel good. So you're going to be more motivated to work out more. But just having that goal of like 1 time or 2 times a week, and then continuing to add it each week or two and increasing that. And I also tell people, like, even if it's you doing like 10 push-ups a day or holding a plank for 30 seconds with a 15-second, break for doing 3 rounds, like that sometimes is a great place to start. I love planks and I love push-ups, but I think just because it works your whole body. Yeah. So those are like simple things, either a time or just like adding a daily movement in that's like super simple, doesn't take up a lot of time, I think is a good way to start.
Yeah, and maybe even if you're starting from scratch and consistency is hard, maybe even just doing like committing to 5 minutes a day where you say, I'm going to start doing something, whether it's taking a walk or pushing play on this workout or doing whatever it is. And then I'm going to set a timer. And at the end of 5 minutes, if I'm exhausted and I feel like, nope, today's a rest day, then you stop. But if you're like, no, this started to energize me and now I'm motivated to continue, then you continue and you get a 20 or 30 minute thing in. But just like making some sort of decision in your mind that this is a goal, and you have to anytime you set a goal, you have to set the steps to get there. So look at maybe historically what your patterns have been and what your struggles have been, think it through and come up with a plan. And sometimes that means, like you were saying, hiring a coach, because that brings accountability and support. Maybe it means like a little bit of a financial commitment, like to this app or something like that, where you're like, okay, I'm spending money on this, so I better, get my value out of it, twice a week or whatever it is that makes sense for you. But I love the concept of little adaptations, little things you can slowly incorporate until it becomes lifestyle. So that's awesome. Well, thank you, Jacquie. This is super exciting. So just a reminder to everybody, drop a comment below. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if you're watching live or on the replay. And Jacquie's app will be available on the website December 1st, on a phone app to download on January 1st. Perfect time for all those goals that we were talking about. But you don't have to wait until January. You can start in December. Just a couple days away. So if you do have any questions for her, make sure you drop a comment below, and she'll make sure to reach out to you. But this is very exciting. I love the whole mentality of, we got to lay the foundation of nutrition. We've got to make the commitment to movement, and you wrap it all up together in a nice little fun package. So that's awesome. So thanks for being here, Jackie. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your Friday.
Thank you, Kylene. It was so good to see you again. And thank you for having me. Like I said, I'll send you all the details and like the code for 50% off so you can share it with your Facebook group and your community. And I'm sure this won't be the last of our collaboration.
Sounds great. Happy Friday, everybody. We will talk to you soon.